Hey everyone, welcome to Kinetic Void. My name is Kpix on the forums, and today I am here to show you the Development 8 patch and just a few things about it. What I'm going to do is launch a galaxy that is a creative galaxy, so that means we have all the components that we could possibly want. I have a ship that I just built here. It's got 6 drone bays, a handful of guns, a CNC mod at the front, and then we have our engines at the back, and then we have all of our hull components, of course, in the middle. Some things that we changed for the D8 build. When you mouse over any of your modules, you'll actually see a semi-transparent look show up on them. So just zooming in here, you can see that when I put my mouse over this cockpit module, that you can actually start seeing through it a little bit. That was just a small change that we got taken care of. Let's go ahead and get launched into space. I'll let you guys see kind of how the skybox has changed. By clicking on launch, it's going to ask us if we want to override our ship, say yes, and it launches us into space. Now my carrier is considered a escort cruiser, that's the size, and I am 34 kilometers away from my nearest enemy. So if I have time, I'm going to hit Shift G, and I'm going to start launching my combat drones. You'll see that the drone bays open up as I click launch, and it's going to take them a few minutes to get launched out of those drone bays. But once we have them up, we are going to be able to use them in the combat that's upcoming with this other ship. I am keeping an eye on that other ship to make sure that they don't actually completely leave my sensor range. Let's go ahead and just keep them targeted. Now you can see we do have those 4 drone bays. Once those drones launch, what we're going to do is click on their icons on the right here and then click the attack. That's what's going to send them out after that enemy ship. While we're waiting for them to get launched, let's go ahead and take a look at our new skybox setup that we have. You can see that we have this green color background in this particular area. And now you can also see on our radar that we actually have those little drones starting to fly around our ship here. You can see them swinging back and forth. Let's see if I can move my camera so you can actually watch them flying off to the side here. So those are our drones just flying there in that little pattern. Now I am going to grab all 4 of them and tell them to attack that enemy ship. They're actually close enough now where I could go after that enemy ship on my own. Instead of me shooting it, though, what I'm going to do is just get close enough so you can see how the drones are going to be hitting it. Now, this is a destroyer class ship, or at least a escort cruiser class ship. You can tell because it has those 2 triangles on it. So my drones are going to have a hard time getting through the shields on this ship. Once my drones are out of the way, I can go ahead and I can take a shot at it by just pressing X and using my mouse to be able to target that ship. Now all I'm trying to do is get through its shields so my drones will be able to do the heavy lifting with it. Now if you notice, I'm stopping firing as my drones fly around it because my drones actually are able to be hit by my projectiles, so that means we do have friendly fire available in the game. And you can see we have a lot of positive hits going against this enemy's ship. His shield volume is in the lower left-hand corner of his icon there. So you can actually see that he's down to 4,000 shield strength. Alright, now we can actually start getting through that shield of his. So my drones will go around and they'll continue shooting him. And you should be able to actually start seeing his health drop down. Now he's getting pretty close to me, so I'm going to go ahead and slow down and get out of the line of fire for my drones. Now I am doing all of my attack right now using my mouse instead of actually using the auto fire. If we wanted to use auto fire, that would be the number 1. By pressing that, I would auto fire my guns on this particular target. I don't want to do that, like I said, because I don't want my drones inadvertently flying through my projectiles. And until we give this guy enough of a break, his shields are not going to regenerate. Now he is down to 34%. We're still at 100%. We've kept him at a long enough of a distance, and he's having a hard time deciding whether to attack us or attack our drones. So we have been able to just continuously chip away at his particular defenses. I'm going to go ahead and get a little bit closer to him. And if you notice in the lower right hand corner, we're actually seeing enemies 3 out of 3 show up there. That's because we do have 2 other enemy combatants that we'll be able to find and kill. It looks like one of my drones was trying to do a sweep around and they ended up hitting my ship. If you're looking at what that attack was on the back, where that small explosion was, that was caused from a drone. Now, if we hit the letter X again, we will turn off our manual targeting. So turn it on, you get that little white crosshair. But since it's not auto-targeting, that means that it is up to you to be able to have your target properly aimed and properly in your sights. Should get a pretty nice explosion here in a second. Alright, and that enemy combatant has been destroyed. Let's go ahead and turn to our left until we see the next one. Alright, so now here's a perfect example of how those sensors are working. You can see our next closest enemy is 24,000 kilometers away. That means we are going to have to warp to get to him if we want to be able to actually get there in time to do anything against him before he leaves. So telling my drones to dock back up. And once they've all docked, I will initiate warp and I will go after that enemy ship. You can see how the textures are coming along in this updated patch. We do have new engine trails on the back end here, so they do have a different effect. And those are actually going to be sized according to whatever components it is that you are using. So that is something that one of our artists was able to get taken care of for us this patch, as well as, like I said, this whole new skybox look. I believe we have one drone who is still out. But as the drones get put back in, you can see that their bays are closing. Alright, so all of our drones are put back home. Let's go ahead and see if our enemy is still there. They are. I'm going to right click, align to, and then right click again and go to warp within 50 kilometers. You'll see us initiate a micro warp, and the distance between us and that enemy ship is going to drop quickly. Alright, so he's only 28 kilometers away. Let's see if we have time to get a few of our drones launched here. Now, this is a very small ship that I'm coming up against. This icon that he is, I believe, is going to be a light fighter. You can tell the size of the ship based on how many triangles there are. The more triangles, the larger that ship is going to be. Now, I would really rather have my drones out and able to fight him, but if he's not going to give me a choice in the matter, if he's going to just keep chipping away at my shields, I will have to end up engaging with him. Now notice we do have another enemy down here. Again, they're another 24,000 away, but we will be dealing with them momentarily. So we have a few of our drones out now. Alright, they're all out. Let's go ahead and deploy them into combat with that light fighter. Now you can see we have 5 drones that are going up against that light fighter. Now he is going to be moving quick. You can tell that he's moving very fast as he moves around my screen here. Now you can see that my drones are having positive hits against him. His shields are completely down now, so any hits they make against him is going to actually damage his ship. At this point, I have not fired once. I'm literally just keeping this guy in my field of vision. Now you can see that his shield is regenerating slowly. It's up to 21 right now. But as soon as it gets up, it only takes 1 or 2 hits from one of the drones to be able to knock it back down. Now, if I were to engage in combat with this enemy ship, I will tell you this, since my guns are so much larger, it would be a very short fight. It would be maybe 5 or 10 hits before I would actually end up killing him. So, on that reference, think about when you are using a light fighter of your own. I'm in the equivalent of an escort cruiser right now, and that would be a 2 triangle radar icon that you would see. What I would be able to do to this ship would be the same as what they would be able to do to you if you're in a light fighter. Do keep in mind though, like I said, that these light fighters are much faster than these cruisers. They're going to be more agile and they are smaller targets. In the future of the game, as we continue implementing more support for the subsystems, the sensors on your cockpit module are going to have speed requirements on them, which means they will lock onto targets more slowly if you don't have enough sensor boosters on them. And if they're locking on slowly enough, you're not going to be able to keep a lock on a fast target such as this. My drones are only firing when they get into position to do so. They don't have the rotating turrets like what my ship does. So as they're firing, they have to wait until they have a straight line of sight with this ship, which is why you don't see them firing all the time. And they are doing an orbit pattern, so they'll swoop around, they'll fire a few times, and then they'll swoop around again. Now this battle's been quite long compared to other battles that I've been in, especially with these light fighters, but do keep in mind, like I said, this is only my drones that are attacking it, and my drones are less than a size 1. So think of a size 1 weapon and cut that down by half or even smaller, and that's what these drones are using for weapons against these other ships. Alright, so my drones were able to take that ship out completely. Good job, guys. Let's go ahead and see if I can get over to this other ship and just take him out quickly so you can see how that would work. Normally I would bring my drones with me. In this case, however, we're just going to warp over there quick and take this enemy out. So I'm not worried about bringing my drones. Yes, that does mean I left my drones back in the dust. So I can tell them to dock, but they aren't going to be able to get caught up with me. I'm moving at 2 million meters a second. It's just not going to happen. So I'm locked on my enemy ship now. And as soon as I get within range, I'm just going to use my auto attack so you can see how quickly this guy dies. "20 kilometers is about our maximum range for our weapons. Like I said, it is not going to take long. He's down to 31% already. And that's all it takes to be able to take out one of those light fighters if you're in one of the larger ships. This has been a video just to give you the feel for how D8 is changing. I'm going to go ahead and keep killing some bad guys, but if anything changes, I'll make sure to come back and add it to the end of this video. If not, thanks so much for watching. Again, this is Kpix with Kinetic Void from Badland Studio.